Baruch Dayan HaEmet. We praise the Judge of Truth. If you have a cell phone or a pager, please turn it off or set it to stun. I know that a lot of people are in the generation that you don't remember if it's on or not. That would be including my generation, so. Begin with Psalm 121. It's a lovely sunny day, a sadness, but a lovely sunny day out. Esai enai el haharim me'ayin yavo Ezri. Ezri me'im Adonai oseh shamayim va'aretz. Al yiten lamot raglecha, al yanum shomrecha. Hine lo yanum velo yishan shomer Yisrael. Adonai shomrecha, Adonai tzilcha al yad yaminecha. Yomam hashemesh lo yakeka v'yarech balayla. Adonai yishmarcha mikol ra yishmor et nafshecha. Adonai yishmar tzedcha v'oecha me'ata v'ad olam. I lift my eyes to the mountains. From whence cometh my help? My help comes from the Lord, maker of heaven and earth. God will not let your foot give way. Your protector will not slumber. See, the protector of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. The Lord is your guardian. He is your protection at your right hand. The sun will not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will guard you from all harm. He will guard your soul, your going and your coming, now and forever. Death has taken our beloved Don Plasco. Our friends grieve in their darkened world. In their silence there is lamentation. In their tears there is loneliness. Lost in their sorrow, may they find the presence of loving friends. Hear them, O God, and be with them. For Don's love that united so many people in life and which death cannot sever. For his companionship that was shared along life's path and which continues through the tenderness of memory. For the gifts of his heart and the gifts of his mind that brought joy and happiness, and for all of these which are now a precious remembrance, we offer our thanks to God. It is a time of sadness and a time of grief, and we listen once again to the voice of our sacred scriptures from Sefer Tehillim, from the book of Psalms. It tells us of our kinship with the Creator, in light as in darkness, in joy as in sorrow, in life as in death. Let us recite in English the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. We have a few eulogies this morning. First, Kupi, best friend and first cousin, will come forward and speak about Don. Then his daughter Kathy and whoever else Kathy brings up with her. And then granddaughter Hallie and whoever else Hallie brings up with her. So we'll call forward Kupi first.
You're welcome. Don Plasco was my cousin. He was my partner and my best friend. A man of humble beginnings. He never finished high school, went into the Army, and was in Korea before the Korean War. He came home and worked as a milkman delivering milk to homes. Then he went to work selling flour. And then he answered an ad for a salesman from a tile company in New Jersey, the Royal Tile Company. and they were entering the Cleveland market. He worked as a salesman. Then he became store manager. Then he went on to become district manager as the chain expanded. Don had an opportunity to open his own store. When the store at Rocky River and Puritas became available, that was the beginning of the Carpet Barn and Tile House. That grew to 22 stores, with stores in Youngstown, Warren, and Sandusky. He was a self-made man. He loved being on television, doing the Humphrey Bogart with his raincoat and hat, on 2-3 times a day. Everybody knew Don Plasco. He was a people person with a heart of gold. He would have a Christmas party every year for the people who worked for him, and he gave out bonuses and gifts. He gave money to people in need for bills, businesses, and for schooling for a lot of people. He will always be remembered as giving a square deal on every square yard. Don Plasco was my cousin. He was my partner, but he was always my best friend.
Kathy? You can find those Carpet Barn and Tile House commercials on YouTube. And I did this morning.
Need my cheaters, so. The phrase that keeps coming back to me is larger than life. Maybe because it defines our dad. Everyone who ever met him was impressed by him. He inspired respect, commanded attention, but most of all, love and laughter. Dad had a great sense of humor and always was there to make us laugh. He loved playing practical jokes. For instance, he always joked to our mother that 20 years with one woman was more than enough. So on their 20th anniversary, he hired a moving van to come and get all his things. Thankfully, our mother had a great sense of humor too. Because then, when my dad was in the Army in Korea, before they got married, and he always used to tell her, you know, I might have had an illegitimate Korean child. She'd go like, oh, Don. So at their 25th wedding anniversary party, the doorbell rings. And sure enough, a Korean woman carrying a suitcase with the name Kim Plasco comes running up to him and says, Daddy! But the most valuable thing we got from our father was unconditional love. No matter what trouble we got into, and believe me, there was plenty. Yet he was always, and yet he was always there for us. He was my rock as I went through many challenging life situations. When my mother was alive, I would call her for some much-needed love and comfort. But it was my dad I turned to when I needed advice. I know this is true for my brother and sister as well. We'll miss him very much. Oh, wait, I didn't finish.
Oh, you didn't? There's more? There's more.
There's more. For someone who, when I was born, as you heard, was a milkman, he ended up with a flooring empire that provided extremely well for his family. Through his hard work and his insightfulness, he built a business that enabled him to lead a successful and rewarding life. For him, that meant not only providing for his family, but the larger community as well. His generosity knew no bounds.
Well done.
Do you want to say anything?
I don't think so. Thanks, everybody, for coming.
Not yet, but you will soon. down before you guys take all of this. So let's just come out.
There's a good amount of us. Ready? Ready? Okay, there's a special relationship between grandparent and grandchild. Here's how we knew our Papa. Papa was like a third parent. He was spoiler, he was the guardian, the sage, the disciplinarian, and the giver of eye kisses. He was the provider, the coach, the soundboard for ideas and advice, most of it good. I remember his dirty mind and a quick wit that he shared, unabashedly, with everyone he met. To call Papa candid is an understatement. People speak of his work ethic and his business success, but we didn't just love him for giving a square deal on every square yard. We loved him for taking us out for ice cream and to boomers, for sleepovers and teaching us not to slam doors. From the perspective of the grandkids, he was wise beyond words. Papa was the guy to know. He was the guy to set you on the right path, the loudest voice in the room, the family man, and the local celebrity. He was a presence everywhere we went. We remember him signing autographs at Corky's. The Papa we knew did everything for his family's happiness. Nobody wanted our success more than Papa. Nobody was more invested in us than him. He helped us all in our battles, and I can't think of a single person who had a greater impact on our lives than our Papa. We remember winters in Florida at Hunter's Run, sitting backwards in his station wagon on the way to family dinners. We remember him leaving to go and play tennis, or lounging on the porch, reading the newspaper or a book with his gold bracelet on. 5 o'clock, vodka on the rocks. Bedtime, keep it down and don't slam doors. He had 10 grandkids, and we're so lucky to have each other. We're lucky to share our memories of Papa with each other, and we're lucky to remember our Papa Dan. We love him and we miss him.
To all of those words spoken as a prayer, let us say Amen. So this afternoon we are gathered, a saddened throng, to reminisce and pay our respects to the memory of our dearly departed Don Plasco. Over the years, Don was an avid tennis player. He liked poker. In his 60s, he took up riding a bicycle. Shelley said when he would come back from riding the bicycle, he would, have this beautiful, wonderful, smiling look on his face, and she said, "I wish you looked at me this way like you look at the bicycle." He was active. He was in good shape. He had a tremendous work ethic, as you know. The SEAL test story to add to that is that he apparently would get the prize for the hardest working man at SEAL test, and that's how he got a lot of the furniture for the house, I was told. The royal tile. And then this story Murray shared, got to share it after he opened up the Carpet Barn and Tile House, was right across the street from St. Patrick's Church, right? And he was a proud Jew. He was a very proud Jew, but not everybody knew he was Jewish, so he didn't, just wear this on his sleeve. And the people from the church would come in, and they'd bring their kids, and they're Catholics, so, lots of kids. They'd be sitting on the tile boxes. He didn't care. Well, apparently there are 45 pieces of tile. I learned this just yesterday. 45 pieces of tile in a box. And this guy came in, and he said to Don, he said, "This box had 41 in it. This box had 42 in it. None of the boxes had 43. I'm short 12 boxes. Jews must have packed these boxes. I'm short. Don't have what I need." Don listened, and then he lost his temper, and he yelled, "Look, Polacks like you pack the boxes. Jews own the company." And then he gave the guy the 12 pieces of tile. But he was very proud of being Jewish, and he didn't take much from anybody, as you well know. He was a proud Jew, but he was not a big service goer. And by the way, you can be both. You can be a big supporter of the Jewish people and synagogues and not attend very often. Every synagogue would love to have members like that. As long as you help out, as long as you give of yourself, it's a wonderful thing. And Don did that. When you walk into our building, the carpet in the sanctuary is still the carpet that he donated from 1996. And a couple of weeks ago, when Rabbi Fred and Helen, my folks, we went to go visit Don, he didn't remember everybody, but he remembered them, and he remembered me, thankfully. So we're talking, and his responses, as you know, when you get further on in Alzheimer's, your responses are pretty, 6, 8 words, something like this. My mom goes, Don, it was such good carpet you gave us. We still have the same carpet in the synagogue you donated for the sanctuary. Don looks at my folks and he goes, always the salesman, he goes, when you buy good, meaning when you buy good, it lasts for a long time. And it was good. He's been a member of our synagogue since 1988. Followed Rabbi Fred from Beth Emet, was a member of Beth Emet before that. Lots of good times with Rabbi Fred and Helen. They spent time on the boat together, many other things. Now, Don was blessed with an extended family. Over the course of his 88 years, he was blessed with the love of 2 wives, 6 children and spouses, 10 great-grandchildren, 10 grandchildren, and many other relatives, friends, and acquaintances. I appreciated that. I'm glad that next thing I say wrong, make sure to say it loudly. He was born here in Cleveland on September 1st, 1929. Okay. His parents of blessed memory, Alan and Ida. He was the middle child of 3. Roz of blessed memory, now Don of blessed memory, and Marv. Marv is here. We offer our condolences to you as well. As you know, he did not graduate high school. Went to John Adams High School. Family lived in Kinsman. And at the age of 17, he went into the Army. He went to Korea about 1946 for 18 months. Now, Don played the trumpet, kind of. He was a bugler, although not a great one. And so the family said he knew one tune on the bugle, taps. The story goes, one morning, Don was awakened and asked to play Reveille to wake up the troops. But he didn't know Reveille. He only knew one tune. He played taps to wake up the troops. They didn't know how that story turned out, but upon discharge from the Army, he returned to Cleveland and married his high school sweetheart, Marion. They were married December 5th, 1948. She passed away in December of 1991 at the age of 62. They were married 43 years at the time of her death. 62 is pretty young. Shelley Ferber also lost her husband Gary at an early age. She died in 1990. And then Don and Shelley found each other, and they were married. April 24th, 1994, 24 years at the time of his death. So the guy was married for, 67 years. It's enough for anybody. So now, the guy with a big personality and a gute neshama and a generous spirit had a big family. I'm going to list all of you, all right? When I miss somebody, please let me know. All right, children by Marion. Murray's got a fiancée, Lisa. All right, Kathy. Marcy's got a husband, Glenn. Rabbi Fred did their wedding. And you're here. Okay? Grandchildren, Hallie, Adam, Jake, Ben, Chelsea, Tyler, Kyle. And then the children that Shelley brought with her. Children, Abby's married to Joel. Darcy's married to Kenny. And Corey is married to Jeanette. And those grandchildren, Sydney, Hannah, and Layla. Is that everybody? Don was a jokester. He enjoyed the notoriety of the Carpet Barn and Tile House TV commercials, and as family members sat around and talked about him, I was reminded of a favorite teaching in the Talmud. There's this teaching in the Talmud about a rabbi who, as he's walking through the town square, comes into direct spiritual communication with Elijah the prophet, the same Elijah the prophet we invite to the Passover Seder. And the rabbi asks Elijah the prophet, in this town square, will any of the people in this town square share the bliss of the world to come with me when they and I have died? And Elijah the prophet points across the town square to a couple of, the Talmud says, people entertaining. And the rabbi says to Elijah the prophet, what, these simple entertainers are going to share the bliss of the world to come when they and I have died? What merits do they possess? And Elijah says to the rabbi, They have joyful, fun-loving spirits that brighten up the hearts of others. It didn't mean they have to be religious Jews. It meant they had joyful, fun-loving spirits to brighten up the hearts of others. And in so many ways, that was Don. Over the years, he was in pretty good health. During his elbow problems and his 4 elbow surgeries, granddaughter Sydney, we had this conversation. Sydney was 4. She doesn't remember this, but has been constantly reminded of it for many years. Sydney would visit her grandpa, and his elbow would hurt. He would have the surgery, and she would be kissing his hands. It's the most lovely thing, a little grandchild next to her grandfather kissing his hands over and over. In 2009, some began to suspect the beginning of Alzheimer's with Don, and it's been a long and arduous road. In 2016, Shelley moved Don to Arden Courts. The staff at Arden Courts has taken loving care of him. They loved him and they took great care of him. He loved flirting with the ladies, and he was a lot of fun to be around, as you know. The staff is very saddened by his passing, as all who knew Don are saddened by his passing. On Wednesday after lunch, he breathed his last. And now there's no more deterioration, no more pain. There's just rest and wholeness and peace. His soul is returning to God, to be with the souls of his dear loved ones, family and friends, and the ancestors of our people. We learn in Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 7, the dust returns to the earth as it was, and the spirit returns to God who gave it. The family is allowing to send along a couple of old prayer books with Don in the casket. Not only do you escort the body of your loved one to its final resting place, but also it's a mitzvah to escort holy items of our tradition. And so we thank the family for allowing us to do that. You have many, many memories of Don Plasco. His Hebrew name was David. Apparently his given name was David, but he didn't like it. Or were there too many other Davids in the family? He didn't like it, so he went by Don. This wasn't a family secret, just something you didn't know for 88 years, so now you find out. As you think of him, be kinder and more thoughtful of others. Do a little sales job on someone. Sell a good story, sell a good idea, sell a good deed, sell a mitzvah. Be a proud Jew, support a temple. Be generous to others, be helpful. Be kind. Be more eager to help and serve others in his loving memory. And so we say with tears in our eyes, words from the first chapter of the book of Job. Adonai natan, v'Adonai lakach, yehi shem Adonai mevarach. The Lord hath given, the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Amen. Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, imru, amen. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. May God, who causes peace in the high heavens, cause peace to rain down upon us, upon all Israel, and upon the soul of our dearly departed Don Plasco. And let us say Amen. Please rise for El Malei Rachamim. Into your care, O God, we entrust the spirit of our dear Don Plasco. For you keep faith with your children in death as in life. Sustain us that we may meet with serenity the mysteries that lie ahead, knowing that when we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you, O God, are with us, a loving friend in whom we put our trust. You are the light of our life, our hope in eternity. El male rachamim, shochen bamromim, hametzeh menucha nechona, tachat kanfei hashchina, im kedoshim u'tohorim, kizohar ha'kiyam azirim, et nishmat David, shalach le'olamo, Baal harachamim, yastirehu b'seter kanafav le'olamim, vayitzro b'tzro hachayim, et nishmato, Adonai hu nachalato, V'yanuach b'shalom al mishkavo, v'nomar Amen. Compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence to Don Plasco, who has entered eternity. O God of mercy, let him find refuge in the shadow of your wings, and let his soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. God is his inheritance. May he rest in peace. And let us say, Amen. Please be seated. In a few moments, we will go in procession to Mount Olive Cemetery. Family has asked me to announce that if you care to make a donation in Don's loving memory, first among the places to consider, please consider the Alzheimer's Association or Arden Courts, Memory Care Community, or others places that are worthy. After the committal service at Mount Olive, we'll get to Acacia on the Green, building number 2 in the reception area. We'll be there in about an hour and 15 minutes from now, and we'll do whatever the family wishes in terms of prayers, and we'll light the Shiva candle and gather for the mourner's meal. The family will be there tonight until 9 o'clock, and then tomorrow from 1 until 5. He'll be on the Kaddish list at Temple Israel near Tamid for the next month, every Friday for the next month. Our services are at 7:30 in the evening, and anyone is welcome to come and say Kaddish for Don. I imagine he'll be on a Kaddish list at other congregations if people put him on as well.